Aafia Siddiqui is a mother of three. She was a Pakistani woman who found herself in prison in Afghanistan. They found in her purse, when they arrested her in Afghanistan, loitering around a government building, they supposedly found in her purse information about how to make bombs and some schematics of some sites in America. Boy, you know, if I was a terrorist suspect and I was out lurking around a place, would I bring with me paperwork on how to make a bomb together with, layouts of New York City and stuff like that? Seems a little crazy, but let's assume they didn't plant any evidence on her. And let's say that they rightfully did arrest her. They put her in jail. And somehow while she's in jail in Afghanistan, she manages, now imagine this, you've got a terror suspect in jail, a woman, and she manages to get a hold of an assault rifle while she's in jail and starts shooting at the officers there, where she gets shot in the stomach. Well, do you believe that if you ran a jail or a prison and you had a terror suspect, that you would allow them access to one of your assault rifles where you could open fire? That's one of the key elements of the case against her. I'm stunned that that could have actually happened. Then, keep her in prison for 5 years, to the point where she's a ragged mess. So many things about this just don't ring true to me. Maybe she is a terrorist. But maybe something else is going on too. I remember witnessing a crime. And a police officer I knew came up to me. We got the guy. But we have a photo lineup. And there's 3 faces here. I just want you to tell me, this isn't the real photo lineup. I want you to tell me which one of these guys was the one who did it. Tell me which one it was. Can you tell me which one it was that did it? And he's tapping on the face of one of the guys, coaching me to show me which one did it. And this is a small-time crime situation, but I said I don't really remember. But what he did there was brutal, because in his mind, he wanted a conviction. He needed a little extra information. So what he did was, he guided me to give the information that was going to cause the conviction, whether it was right or not. It may have been that that was the guy, but if it wasn't, injustice. But even worse, if something happens and you're involved in the legal system and you dummy up information, if you plant information on somebody, or you make up a little story, or you twist things around, and all of a sudden it turns out the person is innocent, and then all the evidence starts crumbling, then all that remains is the phony evidence. And the phony evidence convicts you. So if you're that police officer and it turns out that guy was innocent, you could lose your job, your career, your family, everything because of that lie. When you're sure, see, that officer mentally convicted this man already. But if that conviction gets overturned, then the cop's a criminal. So what's the cop going to do? Is he going to go down? No. He has to make more evidence to make sure that that person he put away, who he knows now is innocent, that person's going to have to take the hit. That person's going to have to take the fall, because I can't lose my career. I mean, I was trying to make this case stick. Sure, I monkeyed things around, but now they're going after me. And that's what happens. And in a world now where we've decided that humans have no rights, constitutional rights for our freedoms as humans have disappeared, especially for Muslims. So we can do whatever we want. So if we're going to deny them all their other human rights, what's going to stop us at this point while we keep them without trying them for 5 years and torture them and deny them all their rights? What's going to keep us from fabricating evidence? Where is the step, the leap from making someone a non-human who deserves nothing that you torture and making up evidence about them? It's not that far of a stretch. And after you've kept somebody and tortured them in a prison for 5 years, if they're found innocent, after 5 years of you torturing them, you look like a stupid, horrible, nasty, Nazi asshole. And at minimum, even if you hadn't fabricated evidence, there's still the storm of repercussions that are going to happen. But if the case ends in a conviction, we can forget about the 5 years of torture she endured while she waited. There's an experiment that one of our viewers had mentioned when we were talking about psychological experiments. Stanford University, college students, they did a prison experiment to try to determine what it is that causes people to treat people so poorly. And they had a group of college students be prisoners and another group of college students be guards. They had to scrap the experiment after 6 days because the students who were portraying prison guards became deadly sadists. So an evil environment can turn good people into evil scumbags. So when was the last time you've been arrested? If you know anybody who's ever been arrested, have you ever had access to the police officers' rifles? A rifle laying around that you could get a hold of and open fire? If the police department that's housing you is going to allow you access as a potential criminal, a terrorist threat, to one of their loaded rifles to where they can open fire on you, if they're that sloppy, what other areas are they sloppy about? And was Aafia Siddiqui, highly educated, brilliant woman, was she stupid enough to carry around in Afghanistan, to carry paperwork? One about making bombs and one about different sites in schematic maps of places in New York for terror sites? If she's out there moving around, she'd have to know that someone might arrest her or look at her stuff. You know, it smells like a plant to me. The whole thing smells funny. Here's an interesting test I'd like to see somebody do. I don't know how you would possibly do it. Take a couple innocent people off the street, say a homeless guy or two, and hand them over to a couple of CIA agents. Tell the CIA agents about a crime that didn't even happen. Make up a crime. Make up a story. Write it up. Write a fantasy story about a crime and tell them you think that the man that you just picked up did it and you want a confession out of him. What do you think the odds are that a random person off the street would confess to CIA operatives after being tortured to a crime that never even existed? I bet you it's better than 50%.